2 weeks later, we're finally back, and it's quite the opportune time. Like 3 days ago was the fourth anniversary for HQ Trivia, so great to be back again. How's everything been, Brian?
All right, no, it's just fun to see you, fun to play trivia, HQ, display, big brain. But tell people what Tally Up is.
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely addicted to that game. Well, okay, so Tally Up, it's a strategy-based game. It involves winning money. It involves taking risks. There are 4 different games. There's Magnet Madness, there's Monkey Business, there's Crystal Caverns, and there's finally Blasteroids. If we get a chance, I can show a couple of demos.
Yeah.
But it's all good fun. I mean, I've only played it for a few weeks, but I can't say that I'd be lying if I say I didn't enjoy it at all.
No, and it took you a while. I remember telling you about this a couple months ago, and you thought it was silly. You thought it was like video games, and it's serious business. Tell them, you start with a penny, and tell them where we're at now.
Yeah, so I've made $102. That's across like four or 5 weeks. I guess in the early stages, you're going to have to be very patient because the accumulation process it's pretty slow. Like you have to play 2-cent, 4-cent games, but ultimately everything counts because it could turn into a big total.
Right, and then tell them, yeah, you work your way up. But tell people about UCF and Super Dad. You got to avoid those guys.
Yeah, they're genuine world beaters in this game. It's true though. They're that good, and that's what makes them the top 3 in this game. And
right.
I speak from experience. I've been absolutely destroyed by those 3.
I feel bad. I gave you some bad. I said, "Bye, you're ready. Take those guys on, and you'll be back." Actually, maybe call up the app and show the people what it is. Those 4 games, and it's just fun. You have
yeah. In fact, I'm going to play a quick.
You can either do it on the video or just with your phone, if you're playing somebody.
I'm not playing someone right now, but I can share my screen and I can show one demo video real quick.
Yeah, do that.
So this one is called Magnet Madness. Here, let me just get it.
Tally Up should give us money for talking about them.
Oh, definitely.
So tell
All
them.
right, so Magnet Madness, yeah. So this involves picking magnet charges. You have 1 through 7, so it's all about strategizing when you pick your charges. And you're shown coins, first to 10 wins, so it's pretty self-explanatory. It's the first game you get to play when you start playing Tally Up. So
I'll just jump in. What you want to do is obviously save the bigger, like your 7, to get when there's like 5 coins. But there's also a deception, like if you think the person's going to go big, you go small. So let this play out. And tell them, are you, which one are you? Are you the top or the bottom?
I'm the bottom. Always the player. If it's you, you're at the bottom. So
yep. Okay. So here.
So the first is 4 coins. I picked the 7. It's a bit of a gamble.
And explain why that's so good, because you took down their 6.
So that was a bit of a risky move. This could have gone in many different ways. Now, if the opponent had picked a 1, that would have been a more adverse situation for me. But fortunately, they picked the 6, and I beat one of their high power charges with my strongest one. So I'm kind of ahead there. And we can see what happens next. So the next one is a 5. And I felt tempted. Should I do the 6? But I decided no, because if I play the 6 and the other person plays a 7, we have the same charges available, and that the other person is ahead by 1. So that wouldn't make any sense. So I decided to
go low.
I decided to extreme lowball this one. And as you can see, the opponent took the bait and played the 7. Now I have a slight advantage. So the next one is 4, and it was kind of a no-brainer. I have a 6, and the highest charge that the opponent has is a 5, so I can easily beat them out on this one.
Oh, they went low. Smart move by them.
Well, yeah, it's a smart move, but then again, I'm up by 3. It's going to be 8-5, and we have the exact same charges. So I'm the clear favorite in this case. Not
Right.
bragging or anything.
Well, what should they have done there?
I would probably, I guess maybe the 1 or 2, but you weren't. The other person wasn't left with much choices because
Yeah.
the best they have is a 5, and I have the 6.
Yeah.
Still intact.
Exactly. And now you can.
So now it's 2. It's virtually match point because it's first to 10. So I decided, you know what? Forget it. I had the 5 is the highest one I have. Let me just play it. If the other person plays a 5, I shouldn't really care because if we keep matching each other, it's going to end 8-5 and I win.
Yes. Got him.
So they played the 4, and that's the end of the game. So
Right.
I reached 10, 10-5.
And what you get? 32 cents?
Yes, that was a 32-cent game. So it was a 32-cent game. We each put 16 cents in. So whoever wins it takes the whole pile.
Right. And the other thing we should say, they're smart. It's not gambling, so you can do it everywhere because they give you the money. You're
At least Android understood that part.
Well, yeah, let me explain that to you. You're like a scientist, but in order for it to be gambling, the first thing that has to exist is you have to gamble. You have to put up money. And so by them giving you money, it's not gambling. So you
Exactly.
can do, so no, it's a fantastic. I think they're out of Los Angeles. So it's fun. And as I said, you and I, we joke, how do we live our lives without Tally Up? You know,
that's very true.
Because other people are like surfing the internet doing stuff. Where you're excited. Hey, Brian, I just made 48 cents on my lunch break.
Yeah, I mean, lunch break it's a handy time to play some Tally Up. Not much happening. I'm just filling my stomach, so it's a handy little pastime to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I joked, you have that new job, but if you keep winning $101, you might have to have a talk with your boss. Say, hey, I'm joking, but it is pretty fun. Tell him about Savage Dad. I mean, he has $3,000.
And he cashed it out. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know. That's it. We should try to talk with one of the, I think the CEO is Jason. I think he's in San Francisco. Or track down Super Dad or UCF. A guy that's just known as Dan. I mean, and my adversary, Jab. I mean,
yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's fun. So, and then what's the other thing? We'll bring the other guys in.
All right, yeah. So this was good timing for since it was HQ's 4th anniversary. So let's bring on our legendary panelists. So we have Chi-Hung, we have Mike, and we have Chandler. Wow. So how's everyone been? Let's go around the room. Who wants to go first?
Apparently nobody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't all
Chi-Hung, you can do the honors.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing all right. Not much happening per se. It's sort of the summer, or just with the kids, just trying to keep them busy. But you guys were talking about Tally Up. We don't have that in Canada, so I feel very deprived of it. I don't know how I live my life without it, but maybe one of these days we'll get it up north. But I've been having fun with some other non-trivia apps, as Brian is aware of.
Yes.
I'll be sure to send in a word to the Tally Up support. How about you, Mike? What's new?
It's been a tough couple weeks, and I feel bad bringing down the chat with all my personal fatherhood challenges. But yeah, my son had an allergic reaction to amoxicillin, which was misdiagnosed as hand, foot, mouth, and they put him back on the amoxicillin, and his rash got worse. And he had an MMR shot the week before, which was responsible for the fever that he had of almost 104, and it was kind of a perfect storm of different things that his ailments could have been. So we've been stressed out for the last week and a half. He's all good now. He's actually walking, which talking to the parents out there, like this guy was just this useless blob for the better part of a year, and well, not better part, but about better part of like half a year, and now he's walking around the house, and so but we've been sort of struggling to deal with the adversity of parenthood. Trivia wise, I'm 0 for 2 the last 2 games of HQ. I haven't won display in probably 2 weeks. I think I'm gonna get a shirt that says 9 out of 10. I started Tally Up, and it's amazing how stressed you get about 16 cents. Like I'm my palms are sweating when I bet 16 cents. It's and in the grand scheme of things, it means nothing. But if I can get up to $3,000 like some out there, then I'll be happy. I'd be happy for any hints or tips on Tally Up, because I've just started it by you recommended to me, and I've played now. I played 2 games of the mining game and finally figured out what was happening. So I'm any hints would be appreciated.
Definitely. And Chandler, how about you?
I've just been busy moving into college.
Well, big congrats.
Correct. Where are you going to college?
Hopkins.
Very nice.
Great to hear.
So.
All right. So. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, I haven't really been playing much trivia this week. I did play HQ this Thursday. I ended up winning just off of a random guess on Q12, as it sometimes is.
I liked your logic. I wish I had thought about that. They said B, last week was A, so I went C.
Yeah.
All right. So I think, speaking of HQ, I think it's a good time to address the elephant in the room. I think, so it's confession time. Who here has stopped something important that they're doing just to play HQ? I want an honest show of hands. Okay. Kind of?
I used to.
Yeah.
Used to? Okay.
I'm embarrassed I did. No, I once, well, you tell me what you did is you pulled off the road to play. I did that too.
I was pretty close to home though, a couple of blocks away, so it wasn't that hard a decision.
No, it was. You should have driven home and forgot the game and forgot about winning $4. I think, Mike, you got off the subway to play?
Even worse than that, I played in a movie once.
Was it a good movie?
It was. I honestly don't remember. It might have been Parasite.
Oh wow! Okay.
That's an Academy Award winner.
I know. Here's the thing. HQ, it was my first trivia thing, and even if I win less money, it still means the most to me. I know that I'll probably get razzed by the by the group, but it's.
Well, you have company there.
And yeah, I've stepped off. I'm coming home from a dinner. I've stepped off the New York City subway, walked up to street level, and gotten home probably 40 minutes late because the combination of playing the game and missing the next couple trains and so forth. So yeah, absolutely. I've embarrassingly so. I've
well, you have company too. I did that when watching Ready Player One in a theater.
Was it the Ready Player One themed game though?
Maybe it was.
There was. Well, I'm curious to know what Chi Hung thinks, because he's the only one not to raise his hand. So is HQ kind of a based on when you're available kind of thing?
I mean, I'm mostly available at 9. It's sort of out of habit that my family knows that's my HQ time. So, I mean, on the odd occasion when I used to go out, I might just have it on to get the streak, but I wouldn't actively play it. Actually, now that I think of it, I have hosted some Zoom parties. I did host a session, like a trivia. Now that I think of it, it was a Kim's Convenience trivia, and trying to play HQ while I'm doing while I'm running trivia, that was That didn't go well. I think Eugene somehow pulled it off. He was in the same trivia as I was. But aside from that, I'm generally not that busy at that time of night. Just the kids are ready to go to bed. My wife is sort of reading the books, that sort of thing. So I don't go out of my way to play trivia. It's just the time is available. So 9 p.m. Eastern sort of works for me.
Yeah, so 6 p.m. Pacific. It was a very good time for me to play. Like a few months back, I didn't have any classes at the time. I was mostly free, but now that's changed for obvious reasons because at 6 p.m. I'll be behind the wheel, possibly right in the middle of I-680, hoping that that I don't get stuck in traffic. But ultimately, I've definitely enjoyed HQ. Like it's been my time to relax. But now that priorities have changed, I've had to adjust things for the better. Yeah, so I do know that it was the 4th anniversary of HQ, but who here was surprised that there was no special quiz or bigger prize or anything of that kind?
I definitely expected something. I mean, they've made such a big deal out of it every past year, and to have it not even mentioned was, although I assume it wasn't mentioned. I play with the sound off, so they didn't mention it, did they?
No, they didn't. I have a theory as to why. I mean, 2 theories. One is obviously they didn't want to bring attention to it because they don't have the full backing or the full weight of their, their staff, their marketing, all that sort of stuff. So they wanted to keep it low key. But another reason, which might, there's some plausibility, but when you go out with a girl and then you get serious and then you become boyfriend, girlfriend, and then maybe one day you get married. So the date that you recognize or that you used to recognize, maybe the first day you met or your first date, it's always superseded by something else. So like if you get married with that person, you then only recognize, the date that you got married. So I'm thinking, well, maybe HQ doesn't want to acknowledge the original inception date. Maybe they're just looking at the date when they came back. Right. So I don't know.
We'll see what happens in March.
Yeah.
Right. But also, there has to be something to celebrate. And I don't want to crush everyone here. They're doing it once a week. They want to be doing it 0 times a week. There's people that want them to do it every day. It was great, but they were losing money hand over fist. Not just the money they gave away, but the money they had to put into staff and doing everything. And so, I mean, what they're doing now is trying to develop something behind the scenes that's going to be totally different. I mean, the future of HQ is no more live trivia.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they could start like a subscription service or something, just like what Big Brain does. If they're running short on money, because okay, so Cashouts, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they're behind by like 4.5 months.
Yeah, 5 months. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
wow,
up to April
5
9th,
months.
I think.
Yeah, exactly. April, and I did that. I went May, June, July, August. Then I rounded up to September. 5 months, and that is crazy. I mean, They can say we're trying to fix it. It sounds hollow, to spend 5 months trying to fix this. They don't want to fix it.
Yeah, it makes no sense, and they keep saying that, oh, we have something going on in the pipelines. I wonder when we're going to figure out or when we're going to learn about what this new thing is going to be. Like even these the word search game or the identify the different color game, like before the game started. I found that update to be like very underwhelming. I think most of us here can relate to that.
Yeah.
Are you able to choose which mini game? I always get the same one.
Yeah, you have to keep swiping to choose a game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, do you want the answers? I have them memorized because we've been doing it in beta for like 4 or 5 months, and it's crazy. They still haven't changed the answers. It's I know all the Starbucks. I know the fastest animals. Chandler's smarter than me. How many other questions? You probably have them memorized.
No, I honestly only play like the Boggle-like mini game. I pull up like a word search answer, and because they allow like 2-letter words, that's actually much quicker than trying to like sort things.
Okay, that makes sense. No, but that's crazy that they had that there sitting for months and they made an announcement. Hey, we got something new, and it's less than exciting. But as I said, whatever they're doing something. And I think the reason why they're not telling us is it's not done yet, or they have no. If they wanted to update us, they would. And people get upset about at HQ. They say they should quit. They shouldn't quit. I mean, they're trying to figure it out. Well, why should they quit? And people are like invested. They want to play every day. You can't, because they gave away so much money, that they're not making any money. They gotta find out a revenue stream where they can make money. They weren't making money over the last year since they came back.
It's about to be a fanboy moment now. I think they should take a leaf out of Swagbucks' textbook. I mean, they've been able to be running for so long, and I noticed something. Every time Swagbucks Live has a bigger jackpot, like 5,000 or 7,500 or maybe even 10,000 sometimes, it says brought to you by Review or Revenue Universe. So they've already figured out beforehand that they already have a stable partner in Revenue Universe, and they're able to help them out on numerous occasions.
Well, clearly, HQ would like to have a sponsor, and they don't. I mean, if they could have a sponsor, they would have a sponsor.
That leads me to the next question. It's for anyone. Anyone can take this question. I mean, so they pump $40,000 each week, and that's a lot of money. It's definitely not chump change. And I wonder where they get that much money from, because advertising can only help you to some extent, and beyond that, you'll need like a major revenue source to make this happen. So where do you feel that they get this money from?
Did remember when they had like a mystery buyer? I don't back when like early when they came back and then they were sued because of they didn't properly report the acquisition. I remember we were joking around like, oh, it's MC Hammer's that mystery buyer, but I don't think we ever figured out who that was, because that's the only thing I can think of besides maybe Russ just dumping his own money into it.
Brian, you got an answer for that?
Well, no, I know it's not MC Hammer. He's from around here. He's broke. People think because you had one hit in like 1991, you're rich. MC Hammer was too generous. He gave away all his money. And as I said, like a mystery, people don't put money into an app to lose money, and so obviously they want to have a return, and there is no return on investment. As I said, it was great for me. In HQ 1.0, I would never win. In HQ 2.0, I won a lot, but it's crazy. I mean, I miss it because it was so fun, but I respect that they're not making money, and I'll let someone else talk, but am I correct that if they're not making money, it makes no sense for them to keep doing live trivia?
A smarter idea for HQ would be to temporarily suspend games until they can get their act together. Continuing to hold games is I feel it's only going to aggravate the situation, and I think taking an indefinite break could potentially be helpful in the short term, but some may disagree with that.
Well, I should let other people talk, but why is that aggravating? I mean, why is playing once a week aggravating? Playing 0 times a week, I don't understand. Why do people get upset that they only can play once a week, and they want it not to, like you, Abai? Why do you want it to go away?
Wait, Chihang, you can go first. Then I'll.
Well,
then answer.
Sure. From what I can tell, it's not the frequency of the game. It's the inability to cash out. I think that irks people out more than anything. If the payments were free flowing, then people would be clamoring for more HQ. The way that you guys were talking about it, that they're 4 to 5 months behind payments. So people feel like, why am I wasting my time winning fake money, which just sits dormant? So either pay up or just shut down. I think that's sort of the mindset, really. I don't know if anyone has anything to add beyond that. Like for me, I'm sort of content. It's like I'll play the trivia. If I get paid out, well, fantastic. Like, at this point, I'm not I'm not an S disturber, so I'll just play whenever it has it. But and when I do see my funds right now, I'm at 490 something, so I can't even cash that out. But once it's available, then I just hit the cash out and I go on my merry little way.
I think
I was talking about. I agree totally with Chi Hung, but then also it's on the people. If you're so upset about not getting your money for like 5 months, don't play. I don't get upset about it. I'd be nice to have the money from April, but I don't. I've heard people that say I'm so upset I'm not going to play, yet they keep playing. That's the part I don't understand.
Doesn't take a lot to have 20 bots play for you, and then wanting all that money to come back.
Right.
Which I feel like the majority of Twitter users who are complaining are clearly don't have a grasp of the English language.
Right. Well, that's a whole other thing where you can live in India and win. But I meant, but there are people that I don't know. Let Mike chime in. How do you feel about this, Mike?
I think there is another set of users out there that for me, again, I said this earlier. HQ was my introduction to app-based online, trivia. I've always been a trivia person. I played bar trivia. I love it, but HQ was kind of my first, my entry point. So it has a cachet to me as a brand that I can't. Until I'm not sure what it'll take, but I can't shake that. So winning a game of HQ still is important to me. Like it means something, and I feel like that's something that HQ has, at least for me, that I think other brands don't have. Display pisses me off so badly with some of the wording and the facts. Like they have absolutely wrong answers, and it fucking infuriates me. And multiple right answers, and that makes me mad. HQ is pretty damn good generally with their fact checking and their question writing. Even if it's obscure stuff, it's pretty good. And so I like winning a game, even if it's $1.50 or $2 or $3. I hope I get the money, but it means something to me. And I know that's not everybody's situation, but that's not. If that applies to another 500,000 people out there, that's brand equity. That means something that's marketable and you could cash in on as a brand. And I don't think they are doing that. So it's not, to me, it's not just about the timeliness of the cash outs. I feel like there's a brand strength that they're maybe not recognizing that they can weigh in or leverage rather, because they were sort of the first in a lot of people's minds, and they have that kind of they have that cachet.
And I just realized it's a good time to segue to display. They've gotten $2 million in funding, and they still have yet to completely sort out the trivia side of things. I mean, at least on a more positive note, the last week of trivia. Well, I only had a chance to play 3 games, but
And
the last week of trivia, right? it had pretty good questions, like factually accurate.
Yeah.
But 1 week is a small sample size. I was telling Brian this earlier.
Yeah, they're headed in the right direction. At least, what they're totally screwed up with their infrastructure is screwed up and will always be screwed up because they're doing pre-recorded trivia. I mean, which is crazy. That's already making it less good. And then the reason why there's no clock is it's pre-recorded, so they don't know how long Sarah is going to talk, and so they can't control that. But what they can control is the quality of the questions, and then most of all, the insanity of. Well, I think our friend Jeremy got an email where it says, with display, sometimes when you win, you lose. And then sometimes when you lose, you win, and vice versa. And if this has happened to you, we sincerely apologize. But then, as I said, it goes back to like Mike, if it's making you so mad, stop playing, as I said. And for me, at least I've won a few times. So the way I kind of look at it is like, am I getting, and every time I've won, at least they paid me. And it was both times. The first time I won, I was beside myself. I went 10 for 10. And they said I went 9 for 10. And then I wrote them to them. They said, okay, you went 10 for 10. So I was happy. And then every time since then, it's only been 2 or 3 times I went 10 for 10. It's the only app when you win, you say, gee, I really hope their server registered my 10 for 10. That would be nice. And then Chi Hung is correct. It's like having found money. It's like putting a jacket. Oh, wow, there's $20 in here. This is fantastic. And that's the good of it. But the insanity, and then to step one further, I get so much love out of their disclaimer. Their disclaimer is written by somebody like in their bedroom, and they have $2 million to give away. And I could call it up. It's just so bad. What is it? Give me a moment. Somebody else talk. I'm going to read the disclaimer. I laugh every time I look at it. Somebody else go ahead.
I'll also say that I haven't gotten my $100 from the last cash out. So
you're muted, Abai.
Mute. Okay, yeah. So yeah, all I was saying is I hope I cashed out last week. Oh, continue.
Generally, what they do is they take forever with the cash outs, but at least if they think you've won, that's good.
I cashed out on PayPal. Like it was in my balance. I haven't received it.
Okay, that's something. Okay, so you cashed out what, about a week ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, so that's something new. Okay, that's a hurdle I haven't come to. So far, I've won $50, $39, and like 20. And the $50 they say is available. So I'm happy. I might get mad like you guys. I haven't tried to cash that out. So there's a final hurdle that Chandler and Abai have encountered where your money is somewhere in the netherworld. It's floating around the internet. That's bad. So of course, that's the one funny thing about HQ is everything took forever until you cashed out, and then you get the money like in 5 minutes. But no, okay, well, that's a problem. Oh, okay, but
I don't think anyone who's recently cashed out in last week has gotten paid yet. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I'm still waiting, and I'll have to just continue waiting because there's not much I can do to control this. It's in, like we mentioned earlier, the ball's in their court.
Have you won before? Have you gotten a PayPal from them in the past?
Yeah.
How long did that take?
June, it was pretty instant. I think it was like within a couple hours.
Okay. But it's at least what Marina said there, that everyone's in the same boat. It's not a boat you want to be in, but that's crazy. I mean, I think I got to find that disclaimer. Hold on a second.
Another problem for me with part of the reason I keep losing display is that I play all these games with no sound because this my situation dictates that I can't like step away, turn the sound up, so I'm just reading. But with display, I think there's probably a hint when she's talking that, oh, it's about to wrap up. I better answer. But I never pick up those cues.
There's no hint, Michael.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Yeah. No, but Michael, if you got to stop playing, man. I mean, if you're doing it, just move on. Stop playing.
I keep seeing these big money games, and I'm like, I'm gonna get one of them.
Okay, well, here's the plan. Keep playing till you get one of those big money games, and then we joke, and then you're in like the boat that we're in. Gee, I won. I hope display thinks I've won. You've opened up a whole can of worms.
I know. It's lose-lose.
Here it is. This disclaimer is just it's incredible. I mean, we'll have so much fun with this. It says our focus is on fun, and fun is in capital letters. We make every attempt to bring you contest free from technical difficulties and with accurate and interesting questions. So that's a good thing. But then here it comes. Having said that, from time to time, technical difficulties may occur. Okay, and this includes, but it's not limited. So, do a factoid being vague, there being more than one correct answer, or potentially even missing the right answer. So they're writing a question that does not have a right answer. But then it's okay. If this happens, please know we tried our best and accept our apologies. And remember this. Remember that this is a game. And so, I mean, that's just such a cop-out. I mean,
they covered their bases.
Yeah, every base is covered. Vague. We apologize. There's two answers. Oh, wait, there isn't even an answer, And so, but it does go show you, like, a buy writes a question himself each day. He checks it. You know, that's the least they can do is make they're correct, because Chi Hung loves Sarah and she does a good job, and it's not her fault. She's sitting there reading it very confidently, and sometimes she's reading about Macau. That's not even a country. You know, it doesn't make any sense. But we still play.
So
Yeah,
what was it?
but we still play.
But despite all of this happening, it's still fun to kill a good 10-ish minutes playing this play. In fact, luckily it's towards the end of my workday, so I get a little bit of free time there.
I just figured out something. Chi Hung, what does your hand look like? Are you winning at Cash Live?
I'm at 98K, round 4. I might get to the final table.
Okay, here
this is looking great.
Can you tell us what's going on? I mean, Cash Live is legendary. Tell us what
this is a
the
perfect
river
kind of
is
segue to Cash Live.
Queen of Hearts.
Okay, and what 2 cards do you have?
I folded.
Okay.
Are we segueing to Cash Live?
I think it's a good time to talk about Cash Live.
I mean, you're playing it. Can you hold it up and show people what it is on the phone?
Yeah, I'll try to. So can you guys see this? Well,
yeah, here we go.
This is live.
Is this Danny Mac?
I've got a 5K.
Five and a king. Okay.
Yeah.
7 of spades, 6 clubs, and 9 of spades.
I'm gonna fold.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're not going to get to the final table. You're going for 25 cents.
Yeah, that's right. So it's basically Texas Hold'em. They play online. It's sort of the same deal as HQ. It's live at 6 and 9 Eastern, and you're playing against other players. And what's great about it is it's free. You have the chance to win some cash, so some bigger prizes if you make it to the final table. Otherwise, you win a quarter if you make it to the end. And there's a live host, and they sort of guide you through the process. So even if you're not a big poker nut, you can learn on the go. They have a tutorial built into the app, and I probably won about $38 since I started playing a few months ago. So it's very accessible. I did make it to the final table one time. I came in second, so that's $20 right there. And you do get $1 for each person you refer, which is pretty generous compared to some of the other apps. That'll give you an extra life or some virtual currency. Like $1 is pretty sweet if you think about it. It's the equivalent of winning 4 games. So I'm in the final round right now. I've got a 5 and 7 of hearts, and it doesn't look like I'm going to do anything with this. It's a 2K3, so I'm going to fold, and we'll talk a little bit more about Cash Live. But they're based in Vancouver. They don't give the impression that they're Canadian. They sort of play it off a bit as probably American, but same thing. You get paid in US dollars. And they have sponsors, unlike HQ. So they have 3 regular sponsors. They have their Cutco knives and brain fuel beverage drink for the Sunday night games where the cash prize is doubled up. And then you have the pillow company. What are they called now?
Yeah.
I've seen that ad so many times.
Yeah. Sorry, Cash Live. I can't remember the name of the company at this time.
Lush Dreams? Lush?
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, so it's fun. I mean, Brian, you're into it. It's hard to win, right? It's
what it is. I mean, it's fun. The hosts are great. That Danny Mac, Natalie, and then the other guy is the owner who whatever.
So I just won 50 cents. It's a double cash Sunday, right?
Chi Hung, I should have stopped hosting the show. I could have won 50 cents.
But basically, the premise is it's 6 rounds of Texas Hold'em. You either fold or you go all in. If you can survive to the end of 6 rounds, well, it used to be if you had any cash balance, you would win the 25 cents. They're getting really popular now. So if you're, I think the top 180 players, you'll get a quarter. And it's pretty exciting, if you see you get pocket aces and then you see an ace, on the what is it called, on the flop, right? So it's fast paced. If you're out in the first round, you just turn off your phone and then you go on with your day. So or you can watch for the rest of the game, which lasts about 15 minutes typically. But it's a good alternative. It doesn't require any brain power really. It's like you can just if you have no poker expertise, you could go all in all the time, and maybe you'll just turn out lucky. So it's a lot of fun. I recommend adding it to your your gaming your apps to your phone. It's on Android and iOS. I thoroughly enjoy it.
They should give you another $1 for saying all that.
They should.
No, you got $1 because of me. No, but I agree. It's fun. I am a little in a rut, thinking it's going to take forever to cash out. But other than that, it's fun, and they give the percentages. It's well done.
You do get paid out. I think I was paid the next day or two when I cashed out.
That's something to talk about. They pay you right away. Big Brain pays you right away. Who else pays right away that I've dealt with? That's the key. You want to get
Swagbucks does.
Swagbucks will pay you right away. That's the key. But going back, then sometimes it's Danny Mac, like Natalie. It's like, wow, what kind of top is this lady wearing? And you just want to stare. See, Chi-Hung notes. I don't want to get you in trouble with your wife, Mac, but this Natalie looks quite good. And so, I don't know. So, and they're Canadian, just like I like Chi-Hung because he's in Toronto. I like these people because they're in Vancouver. And I joke with Chi-Hung, I still have a quarter from Expo 86 from Vancouver, a Canadian quarter I've been trying to get rid of for, I don't know, more than 30 years. And so, no, it's fun. And that Chi-Hung, there will be no Vulpool conversations, but every app that you have recommended, you're a genius. He's like the Robinson Crusoe or Christopher Columbus. He finds all the apps first. Is there anything else out there on the forefront?
Yeah, I mean, we've been sort of playing around with Perfect Picks, another prediction app.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that one.
Yeah, do the other guys on the panel know about Perfect Picks?
I'm not sure, probably not, but it's a prediction app, sports game. Unlike other types of sports apps, they don't get to the specifics of, say, like the number of 3-pointers or the number of home runs. You're not predicting to that micro level. You're only predicting which team will win and by how many, like what the spread will be, right? So right now, what's big is football or soccer. So there's lots of leagues happening in Europe, and you're just basically choosing the winning team and then by how many goals. And then there's a formula that they give, where you get, the more accurate you are, the more points you get. And the reason they call it Perfect Picks is you have one star that you can use to double up your pick. If you get it perfect, you get the maximum points, and it's like it's 100 divided by the number of games. It's a little bit of math involved. But if you use your star on your perfect pick, on the game that you mark, then that's considered a perfect pick where you get double up on your score. So basically what happens is with the cash games that they have, if you score 80 or more points, then you get the jackpot, which is typically $500 US. But it's very difficult to hit that 80-point mark. You pretty much need to get perfect. In most of the scores, you can afford one game to guess incorrectly, but even all the games that you get right, you need to be within like a goal or maybe two. But it takes a little bit of strategy, a lot of luck. Soccer, not my forte. I played basketball. I came in second with the playoffs. Third. I fell down to third. Had a couple of bad picks in the finals there with Milwaukee versus Phoenix. But some of them are just week-long tournaments. Some of them are season-long. Some are playoffs. So there's varying lengths, and some of them are just for fun, and some are for cash prizes. So it's something worth checking out. There's no referral bonus. You're just in just to check it out and maybe get lucky in a cash tournament.
Right. No, but it really is. They set the bar very high. But in fairness, somebody finally did today in the soccer. There were about 400 of us in, and they got the right amount. But as I said, everyone here knows sports. But you can pick. Soccer games are usually 1 or 2 goals. It's going to be really tough in football. Not only do you have to pick the team that wins, how much do they win by? I mean, that's
even
impossible.
basketball too.
Basketball and baseball. Baseball, I always pick 1 run, and it's 1 run sometimes. But sometimes it's 5 runs, it's 6 runs, so it's fun. But as I said, somebody today got the right combinations, and not to get too complicated, the draws in soccer are impossible because you either got to get them or not, because at least when you say it's going to be 2-1 and it's 3-1, you get some points. If a draw, it either happens or doesn't happen. And
Well, just to clarify, you're not predicting the score. You're predicting the spread. So whether it's 2-1 or 5-4, you're saying
yes,
this team by 1,
yes,
which is a lot easier, right? Like to predict the final score,
yes,
it's
true.
It's rather daunting to do that. But I will say, Brian, that one could use the strategy of choosing all draws, and I've done that. Not necessarily because that was my strategy. That's sort of my default. If I don't get around to choosing it, at least I have something.
Yes.
Right. And I did come in first in a given week. I didn't win any money for it, but there happened to be like, say, 6 out of 9 games that resulted in a draw. And if you get a draw, then you're getting a perfect score.
Yes.
Right. Because it's all or nothing at that point for draws.
That's it. The draw is all or nothing. And so that is genius. So, but I'm trying to think of what else to segue. I mean, no, that is hilarious. I looked down and I could see that Chi Hung was doing something, and that's what he does. So Chandler, you've never done the poker, the Cash Live?
Cash Live?
Oh, you're muted.
I haven't. I'm pretty sure it conflicts like with at least 4 out of 7 days of the week with school. So
you got to drop out. You got to drop. You just got there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell your parents you're dropping out of John Hopkins to play Cash Live with all of us. You know, all the guys you met on the internet. It's a good life decision. And then how about this one? Chandler can talk about this. I think Michael a little bit. And again, at Chi Hung, I feel so bad. You're aced out. Big brain.
Yeah, Big Brain was fun while it lasted, but like again, I'm at Hopkins now. That's in Baltimore, Maryland. That's one of the few states where Big Brain isn't allowed in.
Oh no!
Yeah. It is. It would take a big effort. If you saw something that was really good, you could drive an hour south into Virginia.
Yeah, I could take the metro to DC or something.
Yeah, Michael, you can hop off the metro with Michael and play on the street.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, but it is. Tell people. For me, I love it. I'll look at it. At a quiz like last Friday, it was great. There was 2 quizzes I knew: James Bond and Mike Tyson, and because that's the thing, you have to make sure you know the subject, because there's people that Google like Chandler, and there's this guy out there, Big Ken, that knows everything, and then Big Ken, he's a machine. He knows everything, and then he Googles just as fast as Chandler, and so because he'll win a quiz on chocolate. Nobody knows anything about chocolate.
So this is what I put a question out there, and I felt bad, like weird doing it, but like someone like that, I have a full-time job, and I have a wife, and I have a son, and like I have limited time to do this stuff, and I look at, and he plays every game, and he wins most of them. Like, how do you do this? A, time-wise, and B, how do you know so much? It blows my mind.
I think in fairness, the guy's a regular guy like you. He has a wife, a job. His kid is older, and so he can play in the evening. You know, he's not sitting around all the time. And with like a big brain for us, what was it, Chandler? From like 5 o'clock to like 8 o'clock, or what was it on the West Coast?
5 to. I think their last quiz 7:45.
Right, exactly. So 7:45. Yeah, exactly. So it go to 8 o'clock. So for him, it would be 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. So it worked out. But as I said, no, I can beat Big Ken in sports. But if it's like a movie, something, I get so upset because he's answering stuff that I know he doesn't know. I mean, he's getting it because of Google, and so that's the thing. I'll or even classic rock, I stopped doing because you helped me out, Michael. I got so excited, and it didn't cost me. They had questions about Nirvana, and Soundgarden. Go around the room. Or Nirvana and Soundgarden classic rock.
I would say no.
Okay, everyone else chime in?
No.
Right.
No.
There you go. And so, they asked, and so those were tough questions for me. Unfortunately, that was a 50-50, so I was able to get around that. But it is fun. And Chandler was like the other night, Brian, you got to do the Yankees, and he was correct. There's nothing. Chandler's a legend. He'll do some research and enter something and win. I'm more cautious And but I do that. It's about half the time. I think. Thank God I did not enter. They had one on something. I forget what it was, and I would have got my ass kicked. But then that Yankees one, I would have won. So it's fun. I mean, generally, but they don't have enough people playing.
What happens for me is that I sit back. I play very rarely until I feel confident. But what has happened? Maybe I commented on this. There'll be a topic that I'm confident in, and I say, "Oh, I'm still not good enough," so then I don't play it. And I go and I play the replay, and I would have won.
Right.
So the next time that topic comes up, I play it, and they throw a bunch of curveballs, and I lose, and I'm like, God, I should have played the first one.
Yeah, a similar thing happened with me, and when I had VIP tickets. Sometimes, even when I had my iPad with me, I was like, should I do it or should I not do it? And then a couple of times I bailed, and I ended up playing it on my phone, and I ended up winning. Then I'm like, oh dang it, maybe I could have just played it on my iPad into the VIP league. But then again, I can't really complain about the result because I still won the game and got a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Right?
Chandler, to talk about, so do you think they have enough players?
I actually think that they're gaining ground. I believe I didn't check the last free roll, but I feel like the numbers like in the free games are increasing. Like I think it was like 200 or so in the game before that was about fast food. And it seems like right before I left for Maryland that there were games that there's one category that was like casual enough that I could play and beat enough casual people to cash. Like I think like one example is like kitchen appliances. I don't know a lot about it, but there's 50 people in it. Surely I can do better than 30 of them. That's the cash line. But they're growing. I'll say that.
Yeah.
They're growing.
I have a question, Chandler. How are you prevented from playing it if you already have it on your app? Is there some sort of
It's it's geolocated.
Oh wow.
Know what it is?
Yeah. You have to turn on like location services if you want to enter any contest.
Yeah, well, they know where you are, and it's that famous thing where is it luck or is it gambling? And is it luck is gambling? Is it skill or gambling? Right. And some states like California see it as skill. Maryland sees it as gambling. So and that also hurts cash. No Canada, and it's actually like 14 states you can't. Mariana can't do it in Florida. There's a list of 14 that you can't. My friend Ferg can't play in Michigan, and so that's going to hurt their growth. But it's fun for me. I found it early on, and the thing I like most is you write to tech support and you get a response from Nick, the owner.
Exactly.
Yeah,
whether it's actually him or not.
Yeah. I think it's him. Because at least he responds the same way in the same tone each time. It's got to be. I mean, and in fairness, you look at it. Chandler would know this. You guys, if you write to them, and then 2 weeks, your ticket's only like 15 or 20 higher. They're not getting a lot of requests, I don't think.
Yeah, I was gonna say that they've been really good on responding. Like if something's wrong, they will fix it. Like 2 weeks ago with the what happened last week quiz, there was a question that was just factually wrong, a technicality, because someone won another gold medal, which threw off the count of one of the questions.
Allison Felix, right? That one?
Yes, it was her. It didn't even matter in terms of the question. I think it was the clue said she won 10 when she technically won 11.
11, yeah.
So they ended up just refunding everyone for that quiz.
Right.
So.
They do the right thing. The one thing I've noticed, though, is like they're just simple things. Like they'll have something about movies, and they have like the storm. They always use the same what are they called, icons. It just it's not the end of the world. And the other thing I wrote to Nick about, I used to like it like in the practice where it would tell you what the cash line was, how many people played, and what the payouts were. Do you remember? Were you playing back then when it was like that, Chandler and Mike, where you could see on the games that you didn't play what the payouts were?
No, I wasn't in at that point. No.
I think that change. Yeah, I think that change happened right before I played.
Right, and so I've written him twice, and he says they're working on it.
Okay.
So that, but no, it's to me, I love it. Like next week, I'll take it. There's a quiz on Muhammad Ali. That might be the only one I do. The one last week, it was movies in space. and I knew I should have avoided it. But I'm like, Mike, I got to do this. I love Star Wars. I love Star Trek. I got to take this quiz. And then they're asking me shit about like Interstellar and these other movies. I was like, thanks a lot, big brain. Or my favorite is, I learned my lesson. They say famous sports coaches, and I'm just swimming along. Like they're asking me about NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, and then they're asking me about the Toronto Maple Leafs coach in the 1960s. And I'm like, son of a gun, where's Chi Hung when I need him?
Chi Hung may know this one.
Yeah, exactly. So it's true. It's famous coaches. And then the other one that just blew me away was, okay, famous owners. Okay, and I was going along. I knew a lot, and then I was taken down by a NASCAR owner. I don't know any NASCAR owners.
I was just scrolling the games, and I see Friday. There's the Hobbit.
Is that you?
Yeah, and I'm a Lord of the Rings guy. I grew up like reading the Hobbit. I read the Hobbit, book itself numerous times. My brother and I used to listen to the recording of the Rankin Bass version of the Hobbit over and over and over and over. And I've read the Silmarillion. I've read the History of Middle Earth series. I've watched the Peter Jackson series, probably 8 times through.
Have you perfected the Gollum voice? Let's hear it. No, I'm just kidding.
That's gonna be a question. That's gonna be an audio question. No, I'm looking here.
I probably could, but I
Mike, it's 8 o'clock. It's a $2 buy-in. You might be able to win like $10 or $11. Can you get a babysitter for like $2?
Exactly. That's the cost benefit I have to do. But I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Or as I said, yeah, I don't know, but that's the thing. It's tough. But you do need your and Chandler. They're what? They're less than 10 minutes. What are they? About 8 minutes?
Yeah, it's like 8 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Chandler's my man. You've done big brain. Have you done like 3 things at one time, or it's just 2?
I only have 2 devices, so like I can. Yeah, I can do it. So I could do 2 simultaneously, and then after one ends, I switch to the third game. I've done that before.
I've taken a leaf out of your textbook there. I'm also wondering who here considers themselves like very good at multitasking. I'm curious. Chandler, we already heard from you, but anyone can take this one.
I'll let someone else talk, and I'll say something.
I would say I am. It depends on how you define it and how you define good at it, because I think I've read a number of studies that show that nobody is good at truly multitasking. Every task suffers. So it's a pretty consistent total output number for all your tasks that remains consistent. Some tasks always suffer, and so the output generally is generally equal across them. That's what my take is, and I found that to be true for myself. But that's my input.
For me, I want to be like Chandler. I want to be like Big Ken. I want to be like Abai. I want to be a master Googler. And so sometimes I'll have the Google open, and then I get so nervous I can't even type, so it's useless. What I do is like Chandler. I'll study. Like if it's about Michael Jordan, I'll go to the Wikipedia and I'll memorize North Carolina. I'll memorize the Bulls. The Washington Wizards. I'll look at his jersey numbers, and then I'll have like 2 or 3 pages open. And sometimes that works. I can go to the right page and find it. Chandler was it Control F or whatever? You can like find song lyrics. I mean, you're like a machine. I mean, Chandler. You can find phrases. Or tell people what you're doing with the Google.
Just typing fast, like
no, but then you get to a page and is it Control finding something on the page?
Yeah, Control F. Then I type like. Let's just say just bare naked ladies. It's been 1 blank. I just type in space 1 and then week comes up.
There you go.
But you said that you've done, like if it's a multi-tiered question, you've been able to do it in 10 seconds for HQ.
No. If I was doing 2 games at once, no chance.
Okay. No, but even just with 1 game, in 10 seconds, I think you had said you could do it. You've done a 2-tiered Google in 10 seconds to get a right answer, which
Yes, same here.
yeah, not me. So I when the question starts, I've been like, all right,
A 2-tier Google.
I know that I'm going to Google this, and then it's going to be a 50-50. Like I've never even tried to do the second one.
No, but going back to the big brain, that's why Chandler and Big Ken are so good. Is they don't was it the bare naked ladies? You don't know the bare naked ladies, and so that's what it is. I get a 0. It'll be like complete this bare naked ladies lyric, and I'm like automatic 0. And Chandler and Big Ken can go in and get what's it based out of 1,000 and maybe pull out like 500.
Because of the 5-second delay, I can sometimes, if I get really lucky, I can get the full 1,000. I typically get like 800 points.
You're Google. You're getting the full credit. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah.
It's typically more like 800 though.
But
So
okay.
that's like 8 seconds later.
But Chandler, I'm glad you're in Maryland, but also even back in California, thank God you weren't good at sports. I would have hated it. Because that's the one advantage I have over you and Big Ken is I know the sports. Or you tell the night about you knew you could have beat me, but you still entered defunct sports leagues. I'm like Michael and Chi Hung. We're so old, we remember all these leagues. You didn't even know these leagues, and you cashed.
Yeah. Because like a bit of it is just really just reading up Wikipedia, like studying like the top 10 most important. What's the phrase like? You'll understand like 80% of the profession in like the first 20% you study of it.
Right. But in fairness, I remember you telling me that night those questions were ungoogleable.
Yeah, some of them were. So.
That made me happy. That made me happy because I once lost to Big Ken on this one because Michael's in New York. They said so. It was the Yankees. It was the final question. It says, "How many World Series did Red Ruffing win?" And I barely knew the name Red Ruffing. I mean, you don't even know it. He played for the Yankees like in the 1930s. And to be honest, it's a fair question, but it's bogus. No one walks around on the street going, "How many World Series did Red Ruffing win?" So I just had to guess. Big Ken can go and look up and see that it's 6. Do you follow me on that? I mean, that's
got it. Got 6.
See, that's why Chandler has such a good memory. He remembers it now. 6, and so to me, it's a fair question. It's a Yankees question, but it's not. It's useless knowledge if you follow me on that.
Trivia, as it were.
Well, no. Some trivia is if they ask how many did Reggie Jackson win. I mean, that's relevant. He won 2 with the Yankees. It's just like
I totally agree. It's the extent of the triviality of the information.
Right.
Like, how many tiles are in the mosaic of this? Like nobody will ever know that. It's trivia, but it's too trivial.
But this one, I'll talk in a second. But this one, how do they even find Red Ruffing? No one talks about Red Ruffing. Okay, well, what do you got, Chandler?
Sometimes there is technically some significance. Like I know there's a Starry Night quiz that I've studied for like 6 minutes because I knew you can't really make up that many questions for the Starry Night painting. So like they did ask how many stars were in there, and it's 11. I don't know why that came up, but
no, that's famous. That's a legit question. It wasn't like how many times did Red Ruffing look at the Starry Night photo, or I don't know. I mean, I'm joking, but
they also asked like what type of tree was in the painting.
Yeah.
Then they asked like 3 questions about like how long was it in possession of this widower or some reason where you can't get an exact number. You have to do math. You have to figure out she got it from this year to this year. Subtract the dates, you get this.
Right.
And I just bombed all those questions, but I think everything else I was able to get, including Van Gogh's brother, Theo.
Right. But in fairness, you got what was coming to you. You didn't know a thing about Starry Night until you studied. I know a lot about the Yankees, so I mean it's all relative, Right. But it does go, as I said, Michael wants to do The Hobbit because he knows something. Chandler's studying kitchen appliances, it's crazy. Now, Abai, why have you never played?
I don't have the most recent iPhone or iPad, but on a different note, I've got something real quick to show. So my computer is right here. I'm using it right now. My usual setup. I have my keyboard drawer here. So if I so this is my phone and iPad. That's my usual setup for any trivia game, especially when the swag and display are happening at the same time. So I have display on my phone. I have swag on my iPad. So yeah, that's how I multitask. At times, the questions come at different times, so that kind of helps my concentration. But when they coincide, then I know something's going to go wrong. But I'd rather err on the side of display because I think we've been over this earlier. Swag has relatively lower payouts. Yeah.
I made that mistake.
Would you win? You win 17 SB.
Yeah, rather than what, $50?
Yeah.
Game.
Yeah. No, that's we don't want to. Yeah, that was. What is that? Indiana Jones. You chose unwisely or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
You
what-
chose
Poorly.
yeah.
I never even played Swag Bucks live, and then for some reason I did, and then that was the game where the on the last question the guy talks forever, and
Wait, that's the advertising.
I didn't switch over,
Yeah.
and that was the game where I could have won $50.
Right. Well, that's also their display's insane. You don't know when it's going to start.
It says trivia is coming up next, and even the Instagram story for display says trivia at 5 p.m., but they're never on time.
Right. No,
Like it usually starts at like 5:06, 5:07.
that's crazy. I mean, yeah, I wonder if they want. I think they're in Connecticut. They should just listen to us. I mean, just stop doing pre-recorded trivia. We understand your infrastructure screwed up, so just concentrate on writing tough questions that don't have two answers, that aren't vague. And what's the other one that might not even have a correct answer? Just get it right, you know. And then what else can they do? Yeah, a timer's out of the question. I mean, how crazy? That's on us. How crazy are we to play a game that does not have a timer?
And that actually works against you. It makes it a lot more difficult because they say you have, say, what, 10 seconds?
Yeah,
And
Sarah
most-
says
Yeah,
10
more.
seconds.
Most of the time they give you 30 seconds. But I did notice this past week it was closer to 10. The issue comes is, you know, you're used to, if I want to draw a sports analogy, you know, like, you know, the refs, they call fouls or whatever a certain way, and then the playoffs it's totally different. So, you know, the timer works a certain way up until Q10. Before then, it's like 30 seconds, so you're comfortable, you know,
Right.
like I'm gonna think about it for a while, and then the last question hits, and you're thinking you have the same amount of time, and then before you know it, it's like time's up. They
Ding,
show
ding,
the
ding.
answer, and you're like, I'm not even there yet. So
Yeah.
you have to be, you know, you can't be sort of taking your time. You want to be sure of your answer, but at the same time, you can't afford the luxury of just waiting until you know for sure, right? You got to be,
Mhm.
you guess if you don't know. Better to guess and get it wrong than to not have an answer at all. That I was a victim of that a lot during the early days of display.
You got to shoot your shot.
You
Yeah.
know, just another Canadian legend, Wayne Gretzky said, "You miss
Yes.
100% of the shots you don't take," and that and with Shihang saying something pretty much similar. I think, yeah, that definitely resonates. I've been caught napping on Q10. Like I've felt like very ambivalent on two answers. I'm like, I don't know, do I pick this one? Should I pick this one? And before I even tap something, the correct answer is already shown, and I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah, and if the timer doesn't get you, like the timer you see on your phone, the server time may get you, right? So
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
you got to be aware of that.
Yeah. Because that would be a case where sometimes when you win, you lose. And so that's also why you want to answer a little early. There was one a week ago that I should have answered. I stared at it. It was something about the smallest country, and it was something about Italy.
Yes,
And the one that made no sense was the middle one, Monaco.
Monaco.
You know,
yeah.
and all I had to do was the middle one. As you guys know, pick the middle one. And I just was waiting and thinking, well, it can't be Monaco, you know, and I didn't answer. And I lost out on but maybe the good thing is maybe I didn't lose out on $20 because they might not have thought I won. Well, Michael has something here.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna make and if there was if you could change your answer, I would have won that game.
All right. But going back, Michael, if you're playing without sound, just as I said, win once and then retire.
I know.
You just, or just retire now.
I was
Oh, no, reach the $25 cash out minimum.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I was proud of myself on that question because I Googled the first one. I actually Googled 2. I saw the 33 and I was like, there's no time. And then I continued reading in the Google, yeah.
Chi Hung, have you been paid by display?
Yeah, I've been paid a few times.
Okay, so that's a good thing. So,
Hey, Michael, so, if the trivia thing's not working for you, you can post photos and you can,
Well, that's so that's it. That's another thing I was going to ask. Like, does anyone know what else display does?
well, that's the problem. We're there just taking money. It's supposed to be like Instagram. Abai sometimes posts a photo of his office. I've posted one photo.
Oh, okay.
We're supposed to stay and watch the rap concerts. I mean, it's just out of place. I mean, that's the thing. We come for the trivia.
I think we're the minority.
The people that come for the rap or the social media, they probably are thoroughly confused by the questions. It's a very I don't know. They're trying, and you do see people piling in, but then as they say, what's the one? It's always like Fat Boy Mafia. They always have the same. I forget. I don't know. There's something come and then you just immediately turn it off. But no, that's the thing. It's very confusing. You're supposed to treat it like Instagram. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly it. Mariana knows.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah, it's the social media that pays sometimes. Or actually it pays slowly. It pays, not right away, or yeah. No, it is fascinating though. As I said, the payouts are big.
Yeah.
It's like when you open your faucet, like to full blast, it's like dripping a little bit at a time. I think that's a good analogy.
Yeah, I had a quick bare naked lady story since Chandler brought it up earlier. I had to tell it. So in my senior year of high school, I was the yearbook editor. This isn't a big brag or anything like that, but the year after, in my freshman year at college, I was contacted from a site called classmates.com. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that.
I am.
They reached out to me. So basically they're a site that has, you can connect with your old classmates. That's a premise. I think they're still around. So they contacted me the year after asking if I had access to a Stephen Page yearbook. Because supposedly he attended my high school. So Stephen Page being the lead singer of the Bare Naked Ladies. And I thought, well, no, I don't attend that school anymore, but perhaps I can look into it for you. This was my reply in the email. And then I discovered after the fact that he didn't even attend that school. So I don't know why they reached out to me or how they even discovered I was a yearbook editor. It was a bit of a head scratcher, but this was back in 97, 98, something around there. So early days internet. But I thought that was interesting that, you take on a role in an extracurricular capacity and then people find out things about you. I didn't have a social media profile at the time. So for them to figure things out, there's a way that you put yourself out there, people will find out. So.
But were you in Scarborough?
No, I was in Richmond Hill.
Okay.
A famous person that I did go to school with was Trish Stratus of WWE. We actually went to the same school at the same time. She was a few years older than me. I remember one year I attended a signing that she did. She was part of this Axe. Oh, no, sorry, it wasn't Axe. It was Tag body spray. So she appeared at a local shopping center, and I brought my yearbook for her to sign. So she thought that was pretty funny. So people were bringing posters and DVDs. I brought the yearbook.
I too have met Trish Stratus.
You have? Yeah, she's great. She's really kind.
There somehow it was Trish Stratus and Rhino spelled with a Y. They were they came out to whatever. I don't know why they were at some bookstore, and I don't know why. I was an idiot. I got an autograph from Rhino and did not talk to Trish Stratus. I'm still questioning that decision 25 years later. And so, but going back to also, Bare Naked Ladies Canadian. That's what they ever have. Canadian classic rock. I'm gonna get like a Chi Hung on a Zoom, and maybe we can win that. A Big Ken will come in from Jersey City, New Jersey, and beat us somehow. Or maybe Chandler. He'll drive to from Baltimore to Northern Virginia, and
Just over the border. Yeah.
just over the border. Chandler was like a little office over there. I'm joking, but they got to figure out a way to if it's legal in California, it's got to be legal in Maryland. It's stupid.
Yeah, no consistency. It would only be fair to make it legal in all 50 states. I think.
That's why
Actually, I think it should be a U.S. and Canada thing. Yeah.
Should. You know, we just
And,
had
and same with Tally Up too.
in Canada just 2 days ago. Sports betting was finally legalized.
Seriously.
Yeah, and sorry, sports betting without parlay. So you didn't have to make a minimum of 2 or 3 games. You can bet on single games now. So I don't know what ramifications that will have in terms of the gaming app market, but I know we've been shut out for some markets. I used to play this Super Squares, I think it's called. Unbeknownst to me, even though the app was available in the Canadian App Store, I wasn't eligible to actually win any prizes. So when I did come in first, I was looking for my name in the leaderboards and it didn't show up. And I later discovered in the disclaimer that Canadians were not eligible. So that was unfortunate. But we'll see if at least the sports-related apps will open up in the Canadian.
But you knew in your heart.
Well, I was the winner, but that doesn't mean anything in terms of bragging rights.
Yeah, you want the money.
Yeah, I think they were pretty decent prizes. It was either cash or actual prizes from the sponsors, but it makes sense. I mean, they're advertising for either the local markets or the U.S. national market.
With the mention of prizes, that leads me. I just recalled QuickWit. So who here has heard of QuickWit?
Yeah,
just Mike.
They shut down, I think, right?
Yeah, they shut down. So QuickWit was this app.
I played a bunch
They
of
asked
times.
very complex, very convoluted questions, and if you're the first one to get the answer right, you get a prize. Like it could be a coffee maker, or it could be like a pack of energy drinks or whatever.
Or like some special token cards or something that Mariana got in the mail, right? Whatever.
Yeah. So I think they were based out of Boston, and I only started playing it like earlier this year. But they used to hold like different questions all 7 days a week. Then it became only during weekdays, and they ended up folding like I think a few weeks ago. So unfortunately I didn't win anything, but it was still a fun experience, like trying to answer different questions and see how I do.
Yeah, they were tough. I mean, they give you 15 minutes to answer the question. And
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
And sometimes nobody got it.
Yeah, and I'd be. Usually the ones I played were like the 3 p.m. Eastern game, which was late in the afternoon. Sometimes I wouldn't be working and have in between meetings, so I'd just like, you Google for 15 straight minutes and not get the answer. It was tough, and some of them were like, here's the answer in multiple stages. We'll start with this. I'm the first person to do this from a family of this origin, and if you know that, then the youngest member played for this sports team, and that sports team later became a team from this state. Like, so you're just going like these chain, connections, and
it's like one of those Russian dolls, right?
Exactly. I got the right answer several times, but never even close to fast enough to winning. And once again, Big Ken was a frequent winner there.
And Chandler, why weren't you doing that? You're about the only one who could take down Big Ken.
Just because it was hard. Yeah, the only
that's
time
quite the startling admission. Chandler saying something's hard.
That's it. If Chandler's saying something is hard, it's got to be like
hard for all of us.
It's got to be like rocket science. Okay, so that was even too tough for you.
It was tough to do quickly. I feel like there's a method to solving it, and I was able to solve a few puzzles.
Right.
Problem is, if you do it in 8 minutes, when someone solves in 30 seconds, you're just out of luck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I think the fastest one I solved was maybe in 6 or 8 minutes, and then the winner was 26 seconds or something.
I've done one in
Whoa.
16 seconds before, but it was a really easy clue. And
Come on.
no, it was like really easy. Like the first hint was like, oh, it's an affectionate term you can hear in tennis, and it's love. And then someone beat me. Like several people beat me, even though I was in 16 seconds. So
Yeah.
that's how the game works.
Yeah.
But it
Right.
no longer exists.
Yeah, their last game was that Hitchhiker's Guide clue.
Yeah, so long and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah.
And I think, I think that this is a good place to round off the discussion. So let's just go around the room, closing statements from everyone. Let's start with Brian. I'll go last.
Well, first somebody's got to know Big Ken. We got to get him in here. Michael, you moved to Jersey. You might run into him at the supermarket. You know.
Well, I work. My office is in Jersey City. I'm not sure where he works, but
Yes.
I'll be in the office in Jersey City 1 to 2 weeks out of every month.
All right.
We're going back to an in-office hybrid schedule. So, yeah, I'd love to get a coffee or a beer or something with him at some point. So,
Find out. As I said, I think he's like us. So I don't know. Somebody's got to reach out to him.
if he's just a regular person, I'm your guy. I'm
Well,
close,
fairness,
so.
he is. unless he's like one lucky. I know people saw that. We won't talk about that. That was an interesting conversation. Go back and look at the last.
I'll look that up. I know that
well, no, there's
about
more to that story.
Okay.
Look up. One lucky was not what it was different. But
Okay.
in any event, I'm talking too much. I just enjoy this. I mean, it's just neat to meet 4 like-minded people that enjoy trivia, find the humor in it, find a way to make some money doing it. You know, it's enjoyable because for me, I've watched Jeopardy for years and just yell out the answers, and it was fun. But there was no ramifications. You know, I'd always yell out the right or wrong. It doesn't matter. You know, HQ put some skin into the game, and then other people taking a big brain. And then the other thing I'll say is just everybody drive your car, stop playing display. Chi Hung, you're okay. You like Sarah, keep playing. Chandler, you're in class, you're out. No more play. And then Michael, I think even before you win once, because it's a pain in the ass once you win, then it opens up a whole other can of worms. So just quit right now. You know, stop. Silence the notifications you're getting. And but I don't know. I just have fun with all this, and I'll turn it over to my poker friend Chi Hung from Canada.
Yeah, I know there's an embargo in talking about Vopol, but I have to acknowledge Abai placing 12th this week. He's actually the highest ranked amongst our group. So that got you what, $4?
$4, yes.
Congratulations on that. I think it's a $50 cash out. So you're slowly getting there. Applause to you for that. So hopefully,
Thanks a lot.
You're,
only 12% there.
Yeah. So your prediction skills are, you're getting better at that. I think I placed 20th, so not bad on my end. So can't talk about Vopo anymore than that. But in terms of prediction apps, I'll just make a statement in general. Vopo and Perfect Picks and things of that nature. I tend to do a lot of modeling using math. With sports, it's easy to do. You can look up past scores. You can go to booking sites and you can see the odds that way, or you can just go with your intuition. I mean, there's no right or wrong way of doing things. But I think when data is available and you want to do well, it's worth your while to just pay attention to what's happened in the past. And things like injury reports, I won't get to that level because I'm not that invested in Perfect Picks. But for some of these other apps that require you to get, like DraftKings and FanDuel, that sort of thing, where you're actually paying money to win money. I think that's vital to do a little bit of research. But I enjoyed doing the trivia. I enjoy these prediction apps. One day tally up if it'll come to Canada. The closest thing that I can think of in terms of real life is whack-a-mole, and I'm waiting for my local carnival to open up with whack-a-mole so I can start winning stuffed animals for my kids. So
that all the best with that.
thanks.
All right, Mike, you're up next.
All right. So yeah, this is. I'll be honest. I'm not on Facebook. I have a limited online presence. I'm on Twitter because of HQ Trivia, and I've not been really. I think I'm one of the older by far. Brian, well, let me just pause here. We're probably, I would say, the oldest here of this group.
I'm 29 years old.
Okay, so I'm 28 and a half, so we're close.
Exactly. No, that's true. No, that is, and we are the older. I think we got Chi-Hung beat by maybe 3 or 4 years. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. But
I have not had a huge online presence, and I've been hesitant to be exposed. Like my picture when I play HQ, it's sort of I do winter snowshoeing, that kind of light mountaineering and hiking and camping. My picture is a photo from when I've been out on the trails with the partial balaclava and the glasses. So I just don't want to be like, I have this fear of being socially recognized online. But this community has been so positive for me. I love talking about this topic. I love being a part of it and sharing stories and enjoying the game with like-minded people. So this is great, and I hope to continue with the same games and apps we're playing, and hopefully new ones. So I hope to keep being invited.
Tyler?
Okay, I've got a long laundry list of points that I wanted to bring up, but I haven't been able to.
Wow. Okay.
All right, so speedrunning this. Display, again, it's pre-recorded now. That's a bummer. Pre-recorded trivia can work. Again, I bring up Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Live. It was a app that they ran alongside essentially the first season of the Kimmel reboot, and it was a really well-done experience. Problem is, Display doesn't have the infrastructure to have that very well done experience. They're a social media platform first off, and yeah, as Brian kind of brought up, there's not the overlap between players who actually love trivia and people who are willing to like post their data onto some upcoming social media that already went bankrupt once is really, really small. In addition, I don't think they're attracting the types of people they want, even in the U.S. I've been sent at least like 4 people asking, "Oh, could you join my Discord?" Impersonating Power HQ players. So they're not even cracking down on impersonation, because those accounts should have been banned when I proved very much that they were not who they were. So I honestly feel like their best plan of action is shut down the trivia, focus more on developing this social media aspect. I don't know how, but I think the trivia is just gonna hemorrhage it, just like HQ isn't really paying out. I feel like that's gonna just keep building up with Display. Okay, moving on from Display, Big Brain. Yeah, Big Brain. Nice while it lasted. Thanks for the $150, Nick. It's a great app. It's growing. The free roll games, I think, were actually the way to go. I was skeptical at first, but they seem to be working. So keep on going. HQ Trivia. One thing that I forgot to mention on the 4th anniversary game is they ran VIP for some reason. I don't know why it ran, because they didn't meet the 75 players, but they ran it, and someone actually won VIP. Ruby Marshmallow. I recognize that. Yeah, I recognize that name. They're a VIP regular, and I know they won several times in the checkpoint era. HQ Trivia invalidated that VIP win, which seems so. They're worried about a win, a win that's a fourth of a game, 4 months in advance, when they're still doing with payouts from April. That just was so odd to me, and that's the only thing that it was out of the blue for the 4th anniversary game, which is a shame because VIP was a good idea. I do believe wagering money makes the game much more exciting to an extent. But then again, I think with Tally Up, you guys are seeing that even if you wager just pennies on the dollar, you get almost that same level of excitement. So maybe HQ just overpriced VIP to begin with. I don't really know there. And I don't HQ Trivia, I don't know how they're going to bounce back from this in their current form. I do agree with Michael that there's still some brand recognition. I wouldn't be surprised that if they stop doing live games, they somehow like come back as some sort of free to play, like with all their database of like thousands of questions they've written up over the years. They could probably like dump that online, maybe get some company to like sponsor that and buy that. But also what Michael said, I've been playing for not as long as some of you, but I'm going to be 1,000 days old in HQ time when we go to the next game. So HQ Trivia, I'm not talking here today if it wasn't for HQ Trivia. HQ Trivia like kindled a passion within me for trivia apps. It's just a shame that they're not as shining as they used to be.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess to round things off, I guess since HQ went weekly, no offense to them intended, but the charms gradually began to wear off, and now that more priorities are on my plate, it is what it is right now. On a quick side note, Chi Hung did mention statistics. I did take a couple of stat classes in college, but it hasn't really helped me much in for example, Volpo. My predictions are like all over the place.
I'll tell you why. It's from Europe. You have to know what people in France think about Joe Biden. You have to know what people in France have they seen Serena Williams on the street or in person, or I mean, it's impossible. I mean,
I think that poll, the result of that poll was like 60 something for yes.
Okay. Right.
So the logical assumption would be TV, right?
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
No, but yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but I just whenever the bull pool, I would do it if it was like you could figure it out, but it's impossible. I mean, you got to think like a French woman. I mean, forget it. I mean, I don't know, but
maybe that's my advantage, being in a country with English and French.
Yes,
as official languages.
Because in fairness, somehow you got to $50.
Yeah.
And
how quick were they to pay?
Within a couple of days.
Yeah. So
excellent.
You're at $4. You only have 46.
Six. I made 2 cuts. So one was $2. The next was $4.
Oh, excellent.
So I'm crawling at the
away.
moment.
I'm here $44.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I sidetracked you, but full pool.
Oh no, that's okay.
Yeah, no. As I said, I appreciate you guys that you love it. I am happily retired. Michael, I'm just like you should be retired from display. I am happily retired from full pool. I can't tell you how happy I am when they ask all these ridiculous questions, like how am I going to answer a question about Serena Williams? And I'm like, I don't care. I'm retired. But go back. Sorry about it.
Yeah. So next thing I wanted to say is it's just nice to get together with a bunch of friends and catch up on the recent trivia we've played, share some interesting ideas, do the occasional quizzes, and I just noticed we've gone for over 90 minutes. So there's been plenty of fun topics to address. I think we all bring something unique to the table. That's the biggest thing to enjoy in each of these discussions. So with that being said, thanks to everyone for coming. It was great to hear everyone out, and looking forward to the next one. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night.